So here just to, can you hear me well? Sorry, I heard some background noise.
Yeah, we hear you fine. Well, it was just the
Okay.
system recording.
All right, thank you. So here just note some words as feelings, judgment, pain, pleasure, anger, pity, and fear. So in today's presentation, we will touch on some keywords in relation to emotions and their primary types, triggers, manifestations, management, and then we'll delve into emotional intelligence, the 4 domains there, how it relates to leadership and its importance, and some improvement tips and some do not do's. So emotions are, of course, subjective, and they are based on our feelings, how we feel, and then they come out in expressions, and at times they can be extreme. So, as per Encyclopedia Britannica, emotions are complex experiences of consciousness, bodily sensations, and behavior that reflect the personal significance of a state of affairs. So emotions, complex, they're based on experiences, our conscious, and they come out in, bodily sensations and behaviors. There are 4 primary types: anger, sadness, happiness, and fear. So think of being mad, sad, glad, and scared. One thing I noticed here that out of the 4 types, 3 can be thought of as negative. So take a moment and think, what triggers your emotions? What gets you mad, for example? Not being praised for a job you did. You could be sad for losing someone you cared about. You could be scared of catching a disease and getting sick, or you could be glad for that long-awaited vacation that you need to take. So how do these feelings come out? How do they manifest and emerge in us? Through our behavior, body sensations, facial expressions, our mood swings. For example, we could be upset and get up quickly, or raise our voice, or we could be tearing, and tearing can be tears of happiness and joy, or they could be tears of being sad or upset. So, being emotionally intelligent requires us to be in a good state of mind and relaxed and happy. So, with life and its pressures on us, creating many stresses, you need to learn how to cope with that, to be able to be emotional intelligent. So some tips here, for example, exercising, meditating, eating right, learning how to breathe. And then you can take on habits like cooking, drawing, gardening, or sleeping. Me, myself, I grew up exercising all the time, and I found that exercising is very important to help me distress, especially after a long, hard day. So for example, if 2-3 days go by without me exercising, then I don't feel well. I get in a very down mood. Throughout the years, I learned how important breathing is. For example, inhaling quickly and then exhaling slowly, doing that several times, 5 to 10 times, helps calm my nerves. Another example to share with you, back in the days when I used to have a garden, and I had a gardener at that time, but then I wasn't happy with his services. So I'd taken on the chore by myself. So I would, during the weekend, I would dedicate a few hours to gardening. And when I started doing that, cutting the grass, clearing the bushes, trimming the trees, I found that to be very soothing, rewarding, and it helps me clear my mind, especially once the job is done and the garden looks neat and trimmed. Satisfaction is overwhelming. So what is emotional intelligence? It's the ability to make healthy choices based on accurately identifying, understanding, and managing your own feelings and those of others around you. Think of this definition and what it means. About 400 BC, in the book Tao Te Ching, it was written, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom, and then mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. That's where it lies. So you cannot master others if you do not master yourself and control your behavior, basically your emotions. And you cannot know others until you know yourself. So knowing and realizing, your emotions, how they manifest, and then controlling them, only then you can do all the others. Know others, knowing yourself, and mastering others. There are 4 domains here in emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. You want to be able to identify and be aware of your strengths, your limitations, and then you want to be adaptable at the same time, by controlling your impulses, being accountable for your behavior. And to be aware of others, you want to have empathy, be empathetic to people. We're all humans. We have our needs, desires, and we're not perfect. And with that, you want to be able to mentor and teach and guide people around you. Only then you can manage relationships and manage conflicts within them. So we'll delve into those domains in the coming slides, a bit of material to share here. For self-awareness, you want to be able to differentiate between feelings and actions. It's okay to have negative, positive feelings, but it's not okay to have negative actions. And realize that, people around you are a mirror of yourself. People usually behave, as a reaction to our behaviors. So think in every situation, what is your role there? And then there's a study called interpersonal neurobiology. In that study, basically it shows that our emotions and our feelings are controlled by our neurons, how we are wired up. A good thing to do also is to write a personal mission statement for yourself and a leadership one. A personal mission statement for me basically means what I'm looking for is to have a balance in my life. I want to have a balance between my, dedication to family and friends and to my career, but not only that, but to me, myself, my me time, my alone time, where I can unwind, what makes me happy, what makes me relax. Another thing, in your leadership mission statement, you want to think of, what do you want to do? Do you really want to be a leader, or are you a follower? So what, will help you achieve being a leader? Think of your traits and your personality. Basically, why would people want to follow you, for example? In knowing your internal state and your preferences, also you want to think of what resources you have. Here are 3 things to consider. Being aware of yourself, recognizing your emotions and how they affect, and have an accurate self-assessment, know your strengths and limits, and build self-confidence. Building self-confidence is very important because it shows that you are knowing yourself. Marin Valchev stated, effective self-management and self-motivation skills have the power to change dramatically almost every aspect of our lives. So through self-management and motivating yourself, you can improve your performance and, achieve, your objectives. Some techniques to share with you. Have self-control. Control your impulses and your destructive emotions. Be trustworthy by maintaining standards of honesty and integrity. Don't go for the norms of the society. Basically, you want to shoot higher than that. Be conscious and take responsibility of your actions and performance. Learn to be adaptable, and you can do that by being flexible. Only then you can handle changes. Be achievement-oriented, strive to improve and meet standards of excellence, and always have initiative. Many opportunities and chances will come around you. Be selective with that. Be careful what opportunities you choose. Build self-confidence, and you need to respect yourself to be able to do that. Believe in your abilities and your strengths. Manage your stresses, as we stated earlier. Take on exercise, whatever basically makes you feel good and takes your mind off, the day, worries and stresses. Time management and organizational skills is another good capability. You do that by prioritizing your goals, your commitments. And here, be careful, not to overload yourself with commitments. You want to have a balance between work and your leisure time. And I found that is a very important thing to do, because when we are stressed, we lose track and, we only have certain capabilities and limitations. We're human beings. So self-motivation here also is something very important. You want to be able to motivate yourself and not depend on others to motivate you. And you have a healthy lifestyle and a balanced diet. In my opinion, it's all about finding the right balance for you. Bob Woodcock wrote, "The net result of social awareness is the ongoing development of social skills." That's the beautiful part about emotional intelligence. It's a personal, continuous improvement process. So, being aware of yourself and others, it's a capability that you continuously develop and improve on. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of practice. In social awareness, you want to do three things. First, have empathy. Think of people around you. Why are they behaving that way? There is a reason for everything, basically. So with empathy, you want to understand that reason, why your colleague got upset, or why are they not responsive? Do they have doubts? And you want to understand why for that, to be able to convince them and get them on board. Further, you want to think about the group you're within, the organization, and you want to be able to assess collectively how is your team feeling that day. So, for example, you have a kickoff meeting for a certain initiative. Are they excited that morning? Are they ready to move on? Or are they doubtful? They have, certain things and doubts that needs to be clarified. So with that, you want to be what is called service-oriented, by anticipating and recognizing, your colleagues, your friends' needs and desires. 8 steps in social awareness. The first one is identification. You want to know in each situation what's making you uncomfortable. Only then you can alter your behavior. Instead of exerting a negative behavior, you want to exert a positive behavior. You want to learn how to do that. Do not respond negatively, respond positively. And when you do that, you get people's attention. Take responsibility, of course, for any negative behavior. Apologizing actually makes you a bigger person, a better person. And always ask others for honest feedback about, how you behaved. Do that with people you trust. Getting feedback will actually help you improve your awareness process. And, with that, you want to be not only aware of, are you feeling bad, sad, but what is your body saying? What is your facial expression communicating? Are they expressing the right thing? Many times when we are in an excited situation or a heated situation, we lose that awareness. So listen with genuine interest, fight the urge to respond immediately. And me, myself, that's one thing I learned, that when I take a moment, take a breath before I respond, especially in an excited situation, I realize that, my behavior will change, to something better. Improve your social skills. It's not an overnight process. You want to practice. For example, one thing I do, if I know if I'm going to a meeting where there's a lot of people that might get on my nerve, or they're not on board of how we want to move forward, one thing to do is before the meeting or that morning, say, I want to be aware of my emotions during that time and control them. That trick by itself will help you start being, realizing, about your emotions. With that, also, you want to maximize your positive personality traits. Take advantage of that. If dependability is, for example, is one of your traits, use that, bank on it. Some competencies to share with you on relationship management. One is being influential, your ability to build consensus, when people's, minds and support is important. Take on leadership. You want to think about why should people choose to follow you, and develop people around you. Taking on coaching and mentoring will, let your friends, colleagues start, trusting you. And one important one that I truly believe in is that communication is key to everything we do. If we do not communicate properly, not just our words, but our body, facial expressions, that's how you start controlling people around you. Be a change catalyst. Being a change catalyst is important in your career and basically any initiative you want to take on. So question the norms, question established ideals, why things are always being done that way. Can we do them better? In addition, you want to be able to manage conflicts. Take actions when you see something is going wrong, when two colleagues are not cooperating. Why? Don't be afraid of conflict and confronting when you are on the right path. Building bonds, cultivate a good network of colleagues, acquaintances, professionals. It's very beneficial to moving forward and moving on with your career and your life when you have positive people, positive personalities around you. And with that, teamwork and collaboration is key. So relationship management can be broken down into two main blocks: building relationships and proper communication, knowing what to say at the right time. A very nice short story that got the message across to me to share with you here is the Buddha. One time, or one day, Buddha was sitting down and a young man has approached him, abusing him and bad-mouthing him. So Buddha asked the young man to approach and say, "Young sir, if you purchased a lovely gift for someone, but that person did not accept the gift, to whom does the gift belong?" The man was surprised and said, "It would belong to me because I bought the gift." "That is correct," said the Buddha. "It is exactly the same with your anger. If I do not accept your curses, if I do not get insulted and angry in return, the anger remains yours, the same as the gift returning to its owner. So it's not an easy thing to do. When you're being attacked, someone is bad mouthing you, cursing you, or accusing you, think how you would react. I would say more than 90% of us would react negatively with, similar reaction, why are you mad at us? But being calm in such a situation gives you control. So you have to learn, be aware of your emotions, learn how to calm yourself down and not respond negatively and get taken in by negative people around you. To help with that, establish your intentions, show up on time to a meeting, pay attention when somebody's talking, be honest and truthful, and be curious about your emotions and your perceptions and hence your judgments. Don't let them control you. With that, you want to keep an open mind. People react for many different reasons, not necessarily what we see, for example. And be aware of your perceptions. Learn to take breaks. I notice, especially in our culture, meetings drag on for 2, 3, 4 hours many times. No breaks. People don't get up. Myself, I wonder, how many times, not even bathroom breaks. So it's not good, because when you stress yourself for such a long time, your awareness and perception gets taken away. And learn to enjoy and have fun in anything you're doing. Don't take things too seriously. So emotional intelligence is very important to leadership. As we see, leadership is all about managing and controlling people around us. So be open to social and emotional change. Accept it. Investigate why your emotions and perceptions affect your decisions. Think about it. When you take a decision, when you're not feeling well, or when you're down or angry, versus when you took decisions when you were in a happy state and comfortable and confident. So with that, you want to understand and appreciate that emotional intelligence, social awareness, actually they are key to being a leader. Two statements here that relate to what we're saying. One by Daniel Burstein. He stated, the greatest obstacle to discovery is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. So, many people think they know the solution. They think they know what's best, but they're ignorant about that they are wrong. How do you deal with such people? Dr. Mitchell Adler stated, when we feel good about ourselves, we have more to give to others. Think about this for a minute. So if you're feeling sad for a reason, or angry or upset, do you really want to deal with people around you and, with their baggage? I would think not. But then if you're comfortable in a happy state, in a balanced, let's say, Zen moment, yeah, sure, why not? I'll deal with people around me. So self-awareness is at the heart of emotional intelligence. There are 4 levels here. First one is unconscious incompetence. And basically what that is, that, you're not aware of your incompetencies or lack of capabilities. Second one is conscious incompetence. That's an aha moment. You're aware that you are lacking and that you are incompetent. The third one is conscious competence. You are aware of your competencies, and that's an ouch moment. So that's when you will be ready to help yourself improve in your awareness, in yourself and around you. But then the mastery level is that when you reach unconscious competence, and that is when it's second nature. Basically, your competencies and awareness is within your subconscious. You know, you take care of things on the go, basically. So 6 steps, but let's take a look at the stat. You know, emotional intelligence competencies comprise 67% of leadership abilities and are deemed essential for management competencies. 67% is not a small percentage. So this statement says a lot. To become a leader, to be able to guide and lead people around you, you want to develop and improve your emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? It's awareness, having empathy, having the ability to harness your emotions and apply them to tasks like thinking, problem solving, and decision making. You want to have the ability to manage emotions, including, your own, controlling your own, and being able to cheer up and calm down, your teams and your groups. There are 6 steps, and they are in this order. First, acknowledge your emotions, be able to differentiate and analyze them. Why are they there? What has happened? And accept. If it happens, accept it and appreciate them. Reflect on, your emotions and why they manifested. Handle them. Only then you can handle the emotions of people around you. 3 main areas to improve on. 1 is your verbal communication. Know what to say, how to say it, and listen and ask questions. Clarifying, I realize is very important. It's okay to ask once, twice, 3 times if you're not sure, but it's more important to clarify. Then the nonverbal communication. Be aware of your body language, facial expressions. Are you showing an angry face, a happy face, your tone of voice, and learn to relax. In relationship management, it's good to learn to set boundaries, express yourself. If people don't understand your boundaries, they can cross them. Learn to express yourself in a positive way, calming yourself down and, and your communication nerves. To be aware, we have to know the negative emotions and their opposites, the positive ones. So some of them are here to share with you. Having fear, panicked, or tense, you want to be able to relax, be brave, and have courage. When you're anxious, worried, or distressed, you want to show confidence, get excited, and feel secure. If you're angry, aggressive, or hostile, you want to change that to assertiveness, being peaceful, and acceptance. If you're frustrated, annoyed, or agitated, you want to become kind, flexible, and tolerant. If you're sad, hurt, or depressed, you want to calm yourself down, feel healthy, become happy. If you're disgusted, scornful, or resolved, you want to be caring, respectful, and loving. Some do not do's. Don't criticize others. That can make you look, as you are narrow-minded. Don't worry about the future. Why do we worry about the future? What's coming? If it's coming out of our hand, we should, not worry about it. We should worry about what we can control. And don't dwell on the past. What has happened in the past, you cannot change it. Accept it. Think about how you can move forward, what you can do. And always have realistic expectations. When people don't have realistic expectations, they get upset because it's not going to happen. So setting proper expectations based on facts and practicality is very important. So listen, feel, and see. Dale Carnegie, the guru, wrote, dealing with people, remember, you are not dealing with creatures of logic, unfortunately, but with creatures of emotions, and emotions change all the time. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I thank Mr. Mohammed Hamad, who I see as one of my role models, for giving me this opportunity to share with you my knowledge, and thanks to PMI KSA chapter for this opportunity and for your attendance and participation. I hope my presentation was clear, that I didn't go too quick, and I'm available for any questions, answers, or comments or experiences you want to share with us.
Okay, thank you يا وائل. بارك الله فيك يا أخي. ألف شكر و thank you for your kind remark. كلنا زملاء ونتعاون على الخير إن شاء الله. إذا تسمح لي ححول شوية أكثر إلى عربي على أساس أتوقع الأغلبية عرب locals، فنبغى نخلط ما بين الناحيتين.
Sure, no problem.
على ما أبدأ الأسئلة خليني بس أحاول أقول، يمكن في نقطة مهمة أنت ذكرتها في البداية. أكثر شيء تقدر تسويه عشان تجهز نفسك لل stressful situations وللحياة ككل، it really is managing your stress، صح؟ كيف تتحكم في الضغوط اللي بتجيك في العمل، في الحياة، في الشارع، في الزحمة، في كل مكان. 3 أشياء أساسية: النوم الكافي، صح ولا لا؟
Yes.
لابد تكون نايم كفاية. الإنسان اللي بيسهر ل3 و4 الصبح ويجي شغل تاني يوم أكيد حيولع وينفعل من أقل شيء. ثاني شيء الورك أوت، زي ما أنت تكلمت، إذا ما عندك venting out من خلال الحياة الصحية والإكسرسايز حتتعب في حياتك، مو بس في العمل. وأيضا للمديتيشن، وإحنا في عالمنا الحمد لله عندنا أفضل وسيلة للمديتيشن، الصلاة، قراءة القرآن، الأشياء الجميلة اللي في حياتنا اللي هي كلها بتهديك وبتجهزك لضغوطات الحياة. طيب أنا ما أبغى أخذ أكثر من كده وابتدي أقرأ الأسئلة. أوكي، أول سؤال من أخونا كبير بيس. So he's saying one main barrier to social awareness or socialization in general is not the willingness to embrace and accept imperfections in us. Most people believe that they must be perfect in everything to be accepted and considered valuable. While we are as humans, we're not perfect. We cannot be perfect in all aspects of life. We all have strengths and weaknesses, which is perfectly fine, while we can work and improve our weaknesses. This seems like more of a comment, not a question, but what do you think of Mr. Base's comment? Faddal.
He's right. We're all humans. We are not perfect creatures, unfortunately. We're all, I mentioned neurons. We're all wired differently. And that is all based on, genetically, how we're born and how we were brought up and what we have learned. So yes, but, awareness has nothing to do with that. When we say be aware of yourself and your emotions, realize, why that incident, for example, got you upset and crying. When you realize that, only then you can calm yourself down so you don't have more stress on yourself. So yes, I agree with that comment. One thing also, going back to your earlier comment, Mohammed, about sleeping, when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed, I learned power napping, for example, and I found that to be very, very helpful. After I come back, many of us work day and night. Many of us have our main job in the morning, and then you come back at work, and then you have another job, or you have another initiative you want to take care of yourself, personal initiatives. If you do that continuously, you will burn yourself out, and when you're burned, you get upset easily, you get mad easily, and you must understand quickly.
صحيح.
So at a point of my life in my 20s, my dad, introduced me to napping, and believe it or not, even a 5-minute to 10-minute nap, just close your eyes, even if you don't fall asleep, I realized that made a huge difference. After the 5-10 minutes, I get up and I perform better.
وللاسف احنا في مجتمع ما يقدر، يعني ده اللي اعرفه في اسيا، دول اسيا واليابان they appreciate this napping time. خلال نص ساعه في اليوم they shut down the lights، الكمبيوترات تطفى، كل شيء، and they tell you rest، لانه نبغاك تكون في افضل حالاتك ال3-4 ساعات اللي باقيه من الدوام، ما ارتاح، take a break.
Yes.
لكن احنا النموذج الغربي هو اللي غالب علينا. نايم في شغلك، ايش اللي واخذ لك قيلوله؟ هي نابن في المكتب، فضيحه، ويصورك ويعمل لك اي حكايه.
Yes.
خلينا نتكلم على جانب اخر، هو الايموشنال انتليجنس. محتاج انك انت زي ما قلنا سيلف كونفيدنس، صح؟ سيلف كونفيدنس تيجي من فين؟ من النولج. acquire knowledge، اقرا عن الموضوع اكثر، جهز نفسك للاجتماعات اكثر حتى لا تفاجأ بسؤال ما كنت متوقعه. وقبل لا تدخل اجتماع جمع انتليجنس، يا ابو فلان ايش رايك؟ حنتكلم في الموضوع ده، خذ some input 1 to 1 حتى تجهز نفسك لاسئله. هذا الذكاء العملي اللي ممكن يساعدك. فنو يور ماتيريال، نو يور ستاف، اعرف حتتكلم عن ايش. وبعدين ترى هي قضيه خبره، والنولج والخبره ايضا how to handle stressful situation شويه تتعلم. ما حتتعلمها في سنه وسنتين. الحياه واحد فينا الى يومك هذا قاعد يتعلم، صح ولا لا اخوي وائل؟
نعم.
سنتين
absolutely. And this goes to the point of being aware, being aware is by practicing, and you want to have an intention to be aware. يعني إذا أنت ما كنت شو يقولون، ما كان عندك دافع أو رغبة إنك تكون aware of yourself, no, it will not happen.
صحيح. be aware and also يعني تعليقا على كلام الأخ كبير، don't just accept the fact ان انت سريع الانفعال، ما تتقبلها، لابد تتعامل فيه، لابد انك تجد طريقه تتغلب عليها. هذه كانت احد قضايا انا شخصيا في بداياتي، في عصبيه وانفعالي، لكن علمني الشغل وتعلمت ان اذا ما اتحكم في هذا الموضوع كيف اقدر اقود فريقي وانا حنفعل عليهم كل شويه، او اطلع السايت واقعد ازعق في المقاول ولا في المهندسين، كيف يشتغل معك؟ هذا ما هذه عندك مشكله يا اخي، لازم تتعامل معاه وتحسن، والا ما حتترقى كثير ترى. لابد انك تحسن تحكم، صح ولا لا؟
100% عادل كلامك.
حقيقه كثير من الاخوان في الشات are thanking you Wael for the lovely presentation and asking for us to share it with them later. Share for them to share. Okay, here is another comment من Anas Al-Dawood. He says, in my environment, I do try to control my responses, gestures, and manage my communication skills, but how we can consider it intelligence, emotions? Is it only the positive things are a part of it? Is anger or strictly feeling part of it? I'm not sure I quite understand it. While do you want to...
Can you repeat it, Mohammed?
He says, in his environment, I do try to control my responses and manage my communication skills, but how we can consider it intelligent emotions? Is it only the positive things are a part of it?
No, okay. I think I understand what he's saying.
So then,
yes, we all have our impulses. We're not able to, have negative behaviors, let's say. You get upset quickly. You're agitated quickly. if you're not aware of it, being aware of that is intelligence. So you cannot control it, you cannot calm yourself down unless you are aware of it. So, for example, I mentioned ask feedback from, people who are close to you, tell them, how, when you get upset, if you ask your friend, I got upset, how did I behave? How do I come across to you? When you start doing that, getting feedback, that will help with the awareness part, and, when you have intention, to be aware of your feelings, you will really, realize that. So it takes practice, at first it might be difficult. For example, I have a relative. It's hard for me to communicate with them. Me and him, we are never on the same page. So I started thinking about it. That is the intention. How can I improve? How can I convince him and have him listen to me? So with that intention, slowly I started becoming aware. I reflect on the situations that has happened in the past where I got upset and, the discussion ended badly. I reflect on that. So when you reflect, you start realizing, why did I do that? Maybe if I listened for a moment, it would have helped, calm the nerves of the situation down. So it takes practice, basically.
Yes. Another point from our friend Kabir Base, he's talking about dwelling in the past. You touch about that. الواحد يفضل يعيد ويفكر في المشكلة إنه غلط. أوكي يا أستاذ أنا غلط. حاولت تصلحها. أوكي. خلاص move on. أنا live the present. مو تقعد دائما نفكر في غلطاتنا. وسبحان الله الواحد يفكر في غلطاته أكثر ما يفكر في نجاحاته. صح ولا لا يا وائل؟ تفضل. والعقل سبحان الله يعني طالع فيه. أنا أقفل هذا. عالم متشابك ودائما يحاول ياخذك للنيجاتيف سايد اوف ثينجز. انت حتى تشوفها حياتنا كلها الاخبار، تفتح الاخبار اتس اول باد نيوز، كلها مشاكل، انهيار بورصه ما ادري مين، اغلاق بنك هذا اللي في سيليكون فالي، طاحت الدنيا. يا عمي ما احنا ناقصين مشاكل ولا، خلونا ننظر للناحيه الايجابيه. تفضل.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mohammed. We should not, that's, what we mentioned earlier. Why should we worry about things not in our hands? For example, if, like you said, the example of the banks closing in San Francisco, if they're not directly related to us, why should I care about it?
للأسف شوف الميديا اكتشفوا شيء، انه الانتباه الشخص لما بيشاهد اخبار وبرامج تبغى تشد انتباهه، جيب له اخبار سيئه تخوفه، get his attention، يقوم يتنبه ويركز معاك. الاخبار الطيبه الناس يقول لك لا ما تنتبه لها، وبعد شويه خلاص يبتدي يروح عنك. That's why 90% of our news الاخبار كلها مشاكل، كلها بلاوي، كلها حروب، روسيا واوكرانيا وفيضان. تفضل.
نقطة جميلة يعني and my take on that is that be selective, in which news is important for you. The news that is not important for you and that's not affecting you, don't listen to it. Also example, now with social media is all around us. It's in the screen, it's on the laptop, it's at the computer at work, it's on our phones, it follows us all over the place. So, I started, one day I was complaining to a friend of mine about that, and he said, why are you glued to it? For example, when you get up in the morning, why do you need to go to your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? Is there a benefit from it? If there's no benefit, you can, choose not to do it. It's a personal choice, basically.
لان اول ما تبتدي تسمع للاخبار من يوم ما تصحى، ولا الراديو زمان ايام ما كان في راديو نسمع له، تبتدي تدور اخبار، you're agitating yourself، قاعد تثير المخاوف داخلك، قاعد تبني ضغط عليك. ليش؟ لا لا، انسى المواضيع هذه، خفف منها. في سؤال يا وائل اذا تسمح لي من الاخت خديجه.
تفضل.
She's saying, hello, thank you for your presentation. I am now trying to do a big change in my research work and life. I am aware that I am competent and very motivated, and I have self-trust, but the environment can't. I am in, don't help. The environment she's in, the environment she's in does not help, and I can't change it for now. Exactly. So any advice? I am feeling that my high motivation give me a big pressure in my life. Any advice, please? It seems like
Yes,
she's...
I mean, first thing, yeah, it's good. Now I see that she realizes the situation, the environment around her. So best thing to do is accept it. If you can't change it, accept it. Don't fight it. That's the first step. Once you accept it, then you want to think, you know, you have options. We always have options. You can choose if you want to, you know, one thing, you can choose to get out of it. Change the environment, you know, move to a different city, for example, or you change the company. If you can't do that, then you want to think, you know, whatever, you know, staying with it, you know, you want to control your impulses. People that get you angry, try to avoid them. Don't talk to them. You want to minimize communication here. And like we stated also, another thing to do is take on good habits, good practices that will make you feel good, like exercise, cooking, drawing, you know, taking a bicycle ride, going for a walk, or for example, if you have a TV show that makes you laugh, makes you, you know, think, you just want to clear your mind of whatever impacts that have affected you from the negative environment. So, you know, you have to manage it to make life tolerable, basically.
Well, another couple of questions about the same thing. How to handle a toxic work environment, how to control negative people around you at work.
That's all through the emotional intelligence, of course, you know, like we say.
You cannot control them, but you can control your reaction. صح يا وائل?
Exactly. You know, this takes us to the statement where it says, you know, to manage people around you, you want to master your own emotions first. That's what we're saying here. So control your emotions. If the situation gets you upset, don't get upset. Why should you give them the benefit of seeing you upset?
بس ما هي سهلة. ما هي سهلة.
It's not easy. Exactly.
طيب بس انت هو الشطاره انك تعرف ان هذا الرجال اصلا هو نيجاتيف، هو عنده مشاكل ومحبط وغيران منك مثلا، او شايفك منافس، فلا تتوقع منه بوزيتيف. اوكي اعمل لك حاجز بينه وبينه. You know, this guy is going to always throw garbage at you.
Remember the Buddha story, Muhammad, that we mentioned? That is exactly, you know, the mastery level, you know. Somebody is cursing you, somebody is giving you, you know, bad mouthing or treating you negatively. Don't entertain them. Stay calm, stay focused. Many times,
وغير المكان، يعني غير المكان ايضا ترى يعني toxic environment
exactly
no matter what. لازم تكون healthy environment.
And always remember,
Absolutely.
you know, one thing to do is always remember, you know, nothing stays still. For example, if you're having a bad boss, sooner or later, this guy is gonna move, or you're gonna move. If he doesn't move, you move, you know. I've worked for a long time. None of the bosses stayed there forever. They get changed. People move.
They move around.
And even
or you move around until you move. I'm not having this location. Fine. والشركات الكبيرة لازم تسمع منك، صح ولا لا؟ شركات
Yes.
تسمع منك. إذا رئيسك المباشر وهذا المشروع ما هو مناسب لك، أوكي أطلب التغيير يا أخي، بس be sure you know.
Yes.
sorry. تفضل.
And the trick is to be aware of that situation. You know, if you're not aware of it, it's useless. So once you become aware of it, then you ask yourself, for example, if somebody is bad mouthing you, do you need to respond to him? Why should you respond? You can ignore it, move on.
What about emails يا وائل؟ أنا that's another way. وتشوف الناس سهل إنه يحط لغة قوية قاسية في الإيميل. So خلينا نتكلم على الإيميل شوي. How to respond to a negative email that you got.
You can choose to ignore it if you don't have to respond. First of all, you need to, you know, if you get a negative email, first thing you should think of, do you need to respond? Why should you respond? If you know, either you respond, you know, in a way to calm the situation down, or if it's going to be negative, why respond? You don't need to. You know, because if you entertain the negative, it will get you in a negative mood itself.
صحيح.
So the best thing to do is not to entertain, you know, the negative comments, negative situations. If, you know, let's say you're in a social setting and people within the group start teasing you, you have a choice. You can stay and ignore them, or you can get up and walk away. So, you know, being aware, you need to think what works best for you. You know, if you could stay, it's gonna add to your stresses maybe. Or like the Buddha, you know, just stay quiet, ignore them. Inside yourself, you can be laughing at them and their stupid behavior.
صحيح، بس أحيانا ما تقدر. You can not ignore
It's
it.
not easy.
One thing
No, it's not easy, Muhammad. We didn't say it's easy. You know, like I said, you know, being in the situation where Buddha was, I'd say at least 90% of us would respond negatively and maybe with a fist fight. But then when you think about it,
صحيح.
when you think about it, is it worth it? Because you can get hurt yourself.
صحيح.
It's not worth it. And you know, talking about Islam taught us to be peaceful.
نعم.
You know, the word itself, Islam, which means peace, you know, it didn't teach us to, you know, be aggressive with others.
نعم. ويمكن أقترح شيء بالنسبة للإيميلات، إنه don't respond now. Who said you need to respond now? One thing I learned, when you respond right away, you're going to make a mistake. إذا على طول رديت زي كأنها واتساب, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to hurt yourself or somebody. Write down. وروح غيب ساعة ساعتين, اتغدى, روح جيم. يعني مو كل شيء has to be answered right away, صح؟ روح غيب عنها لين ما تهدى. لأن أول ما شفت الإيميل السيء هذا انفعلت. خلاص, your emotions got fired up.
Actually, you just reminded me of something. Yeah, sorry, Mohammed. Actually, you just reminded me of something, you know, based on studies, it always says, you know, especially when you're trying to take a critical decision, don't take decisions right away. So this means also don't respond right away, you know, pause, take a moment.
Yes.
If you can take a day or two to think about, analyze, calm yourself down, then respond.
أول شيء على الأقل قل له أوكي I'll get back to you. fine. أرجع لك بعد شوي.
صحيح.
يعني أخونا ذكرنا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلام. لا بد البني آدم يحسن. يعني الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام, إذا تسمحوا لي, يعني الأخت الورك in a toxic environment, هذا المثال دعا قومه, يعني وهي رسالة سماوية 10 سنوات, ولكن لم يقبل الدعاء ولم يقبل الدعوة, عفوا, واضطر أن يغير, اضطر أن يهاجر ويترك بلده ومدينته.
صحيح.
احيانا تغيير اللوكيشن مهم جدا، لانه at the end of the day اذا toxic you're not gonna succeed. انت في مكان ما هو صحي لك فلن تنجح.
You're affecting yourself, and when when it's affecting you, it will affect your family too. But on a long term, no, it's not good to be in a toxic situation.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we can wrap it up now. Again, thank you, dear وائل. بارك الله فيك وفي علمك. really مشكور على هذا الجهد والاستجابة، وغيرنا اليوم وهدنا شوية تكنيكال جليتش في البيادة، وإن شاء الله نستضيفك مرات ومرات. نشكر الإخوان اللي حضروا معنا، وكثير منهم ترى بيطلبوا البرزنتيشن حقتك. Okay, we'll see if you can share it with them. We'll find a way to share it with the audience إن شاء الله.
Let me get خليني أستأذن الأخت ليلي، وإن شاء الله ما
Sure. Even if you want to modify it a little bit. وأيضا أطلب من الإخوان إنه شاركونا بآرائكم لمواضيع المستقبلة. For future webinars, please let us know what you think. This is the last one before Ramadan. We're not going to have any webinars in Ramadan because I think we have a much more important task. عشان لا نضيع، يعني كفاية إنه كلنا بندام وعمل، وكمان في الليل نروح نحضر ويبينارز لمحمد حماد ووائل الجاسم. لا، خلنا نروح نتعبد ربنا الشهر الكريم هذا. عسى الله يتقبل مننا جميعا إن شاء الله. آمين. بعد العيد إن شاء الله بنبدأ نكمل الويبينارز حقتنا، لكن نرحب بمقترحاتكم جميعا لهذا الويبينارز القادمة بإذن الله تعالى. تحياتي للجميع. تفضل يا والد، تفضل.
أقول يعطيكم العافية. يعطيك العافية والله يقويك.
يعافيك ويسلم.
الشهر مقدما.
تسلم، الله يبارك فيك، مبارك عليك وعلى كل الحضور، وإن شاء الله يتقبل منا ومنكم إن شاء الله صالح الأعمال. نستأذن منكم في أمان الله. السلام عليكم جميعا. Thank you guys. Thanks.
Have a good evening everyone.
Have a good evening. مع السلامة.